I just don't think he's grateful. We gave him, in my opinion, $350 billion. Europe is in for $100 billion. We gave him $350 billion, and he's talking about the fact that they have fought, and there's a bravery because somebody has to use the weapons. But without those weapons, don't forget, I was the one that gave him the javelins that was able to knock down all the tanks.
How could we forget?
This is not even true. Apparently, the total U.S. spending on Ukraine for the U.S. Department of Defense should be around $182.8 billion, with the Kiel Institute estimating it to be about $119.7 billion. This is nowhere close $350 billion, much less $200 billion. So therefore, this is not really true.
It never happened.
What's the breakdown to the $350 billion? Basically, Trump said we gave him $350 billion. So that's the way it is. Yeah.
Because Iran was broke. They had no money. They weren't giving it to Hamas or Hezbollah or anybody else.
That's not true. I don't know if Asmongold is memeing here. If he is memeing, then it kind of feels as if he's giving one of these memes where he kind of realizes that Trump has told a lie, but he's running with it anyway. I don't know why Asmongold is just memeing through it instead of actually correcting Trump, because 350 is way off from 175 or 180 or even 200. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the goal is here.
They're in for 100. We're in for 350. How does that? And we have an ocean in between us, right? We're not in the danger that they are. They are in much greater danger, if you call it danger.
Again, it's probably better to point out the fact that Trump has this incorrect. 350 billion is not the case, actually. Europe, according to the delegation of the European Union to the United States of America, we can see here that in addition, in February 2024, European leaders agreed to commit up to $54 billion until 2027. And then if we go all the way down here, it says the first $3.2 billion was dispersed in January 2025. This will bring our commitments to date to close to $198 billion. So we have the United States at around 170, 180. However, for Europe, it's almost 200 billion.
To understand that some people might not realize why he keeps repeating the $350 billion thing. The reason is that if you guys ever saw the movie Beetlejuice, is that if you say it 3 times close enough together, it actually turns into being true. Yeah, so that's the 3rd time. Now it's true.
I'm a little confused here because Asmongold kind of supports Trump, but then he kind of low-key acknowledges here that Trump is lying. So I don't know why he's okay with Trump lying here, and he just kind of memes through it because he wants to indicate that he actually knows that Trump is lying, but at the same time he wants to pretend it's not a big deal when this is in fact a big deal, because by saying that you are paying more than the EU to Ukraine, you're undermining your European leaders' efforts in order to ally with Ukraine on the war effort. So I'm not entirely sure here. Maybe some Asmongold fan could correct me, but yeah.
Man.
And Biden hasn't been tough. Biden's done nothing. He was a weak, pathetic man.
So is there anything else you want to say to the critics?
Damn, he really going in on Biden. Jesus, he's shitting on him.
Contrary to popular belief, Biden actually accomplished quite a lot in his time as a one-term president. The thing is that lots of people don't actually notice the policies that he actually brought into motion. For example, he has had the Build Back Better plan. It was a proposed framework of public investment, says here, in social, infrastructural, and environmental programs. It was eventually divided into 3 parts. The American Rescue Plan was focused on COVID-19 pandemic relief and was passed and signed into law in March 2021 as the part of the American Rescue Plan Act. It would address infrastructure, climate change, and it would also propose investment in social policies such as paid parental leave. The administration also pursued lower drug prices by allowing Medicare to negotiate the prices it pays and capping the price of insulin. On August 9, 2022, Biden actively promoted and signed into law the CHIPS and Science Act, which authorized $52 billion for domestic semiconductor research and manufacturing. On August 16, 2022, Biden signed the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 into law, which included provisions to support the domestic production of solar panels, wind turbines, and other infrastructure. For taxation, Biden changed the practice of IRS agents disproportionately auditing lower-income Americans. Finance officials from 130 countries agreed on July 1st, 2021, to plans for a new international taxation policy. All the major economies agreed to pass national laws that would require corporations to pay at least 15% income tax in the countries they operate. This new policy would end the practice of locating world headquarters in small countries with very low taxation rates. Due to the ongoing decreases in housing affordability exacerbated by the pandemic inflation snarls in the global supply chain, Biden launched the Housing Supply Action Plan on May 16, 2022, to increase housing supply and construction through executive initiatives, administrative deregulation, and funding from the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. The 2024 bipartisan border bill is a significant one because following months of negotiations, on February 4th, 2024, a bipartisan group of senators released a 370-page bill intended to sharply reduce incentives for migrants to attempt border crossings. What's notable about this one is that it was rejected by Trump on purpose. Senate Republicans swiftly turned against the bill upon its release after Trump openly said he did not want Joe Biden to score political win with the legislation, even though it would reduce illegal border crossings. Furthermore, Biden also pulled out of Afghanistan. On June 16, 2021, Biden met with Putin in Geneva, Switzerland. The two presidents discussed a number of topics, including stable policy on climate change, nuclear proliferation, and cybersecurity. Russia's activities regarding Ukraine, Alexei Navalny, Belarus, and nationals jailed in each other's countries. The summit was significantly shorter than expected, only lasting 3.5 of the predicted 5 hours. Putin praised Biden as a knowledgeable and shrewd negotiator the next day. And that is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more, but I digress. Let's just continue with the video.
You wrote a letter to...
So, damn. Damn. Okay. All right.
The Khomeini,
Yes.
the
Damn, okay, all right.
cut $1 trillion in defense spending, right?
I didn't say I was.
You did not get it. So I was like, which is it? Are you cutting defense spending or are you building us up?
I never said defense spending.
Okay, because I think you were talking about denuclearization,
Correct.
and that's where the cutting of
Correct.
the spending
Okay.
came in.
I never said cut. No, it's not in these days. I'd love to cut defense spending, but not now.
The question she is asking is actually entirely appropriate because Trump did actually say this. Let's take a look.
And we got like the whole world is blowing up. So when we straighten it all out, then I want to have one of the first meetings I want to have is with President Xi of China, President Putin of Russia, and I want to say, let's cut our military budget in half. And we can do that.
In half, all right? So there it is. Statement clear.
So again, Trump has said in this interview that I never said cut, I never said cut, I never said cut, right? So again, this is a direct contradiction. Trump has contradicted himself immediately. So yeah.
Don't give a fuck.
And nobody talks about nuclear weapons or some of the other things, but the nuclear weapons in particular right now. And
He's got the
they talk
cards,
about
boys.
the climate. And they talk about the dangers of the climate. But they don't talk about the dangers of a nuclear weapon, which could happen tomorrow. They say in 300 years, I watched Biden for years say the existential threat. He loved the term existential threat.
I use that.
Is our greatest existential threat is from the climate. And I said, no. The greatest is sitting in shelves in various countries called nuclear weapons that are big monsters that can blow your heads off for miles and miles and miles. And they never mention that.
Man, that's a lot. Big boy, heads off. Yeah, I don't know about that. That's crazy. And it's the day after tomorrow. Do you think if the world actually got rid of their nukes, would some countries keep some secretly? Yeah, I think that they would. I think that the logic is that stop building more of them because we can already blow up the whole world. So like we're kind of like at capacity here, right? We don't need to blow up the whole world 2 times. Let's just stop here. And we have some of these, but we don't need infinitely more of them, right? That's the point. Yeah, exactly. I think that's the line of reasoning that he has.
I think a good question to ask is, even though nuclear war and nuclear winter is obviously terrifying, do we really want to, how do we deal with a situation in which one country has nuclear weapons, the other country does not have nuclear weapons, and then the country with nuclear weapons does something incredibly unethical, such as invading another country? How would you counter with that if you cannot actually actively combat that country with nuclear weapons in fear of nuclear winter? Now that is the real question. But regardless, that's about it. Thanks for watching.